why does my illustration look so flat? Like there's no emotion in it. What should I do to make it look more alive? Oh, I know. I haven't added lighting yet. No wonder it looks emotionless. Oh, hello there. In the previous section, we have learned about many things such as layout and background, texture and shadow, techniques, cursor configuration, and others. This means that you have learned the basics of drawing or designing an object or character game very well. In this subsection, we will learn about lighting in creating illustrations. We will learn the importance of lighting, how to do basic lighting, and a theory about lighting. After watching this video, we hope that you will understand the importance of using lighting in illustrations and be able to apply it. Let's start from the definition of lighting first. Lighting is a stage where the artist adds a light source to the object in order to make it appear more alive by creating an atmosphere or mood and giving dimension to the illustration. This lighting stage is very important because by going through this stage, it can change the mood or emotion that is to be conveyed from the illustration being made. Keep in mind that lighting is not just about adding lighting. We must understand how light interacts with objects, which will eventually form shadows, reflections, and highlights that can create the illusion of a three-dimensional impression. With the right lighting placement, illustration can look more alive and realistic, or even strengthen the atmosphere such as dramatic, mysterious, angry, sad, or happy. There are two types of lighting that can be used depending on the style and situation. Hard lighting, which has a sharp lighting and creates sharp shadows because of the contrasting transition between light and shadow. Then, there is soft lighting, which has a smooth texture and the shadows that are not too visible because of the smooth transition between light and shadow. Both types of lighting can be used at the same time. For example, in the following Genshin Impact game environment, some parts have hard light so we can easily identify them. Coupled with soft lighting that adds a magical impression there. We can spot the hard lighting on the grass at the bottom right. Next, look at this image. Clearly visible on the image, the soft yellow light under the mushrooms adds the impression of a magical forest. The next example we can use is the character design of Hats in the game Tower of God, New World Below. We can identify which use hard lighting and soft lighting as well. Hard lighting is used on the folds of the character's clothes, while soft lighting is used on the character's sword effect and in certain parts of the character. So, after the explanation about lighting and some examples of its application in games and illustrations, now imagine if there is no additional lighting in a game. Could you imagine that? Of course, the game will look very flat because there are only basic colors and shadows. Because it is lacking in terms of visuals, it will certainly reduce the value of players' playing experience. Therefore, we can conclude that lighting is indeed very important as an aspect of building game visuals and illustrations. In color theory, there is one called cold tone color and warm tone color. Lighting can tell a story about the illustration you make from color. Colors that have warm tones tend to have a comfortable, nostalgic, or romantic impression. In contrast, colors that have cold tones tend to have a melancholic, mysterious, and calm impression. Therefore, try to use this theory and play with the colors in the illustration you make. Try to make your illustration tell their own stories. To further understand how lighting works in illustrations, let's look at the following process using the character Hwaa from the Tower of God New World game and its manhwa with the same title. First, prepare an object that has been given a base color. The object in question can be in any shape you would like. Second, determine the number of light sources you want to include in the illustration. This determination helps create a more focused composition and ensures more consistent lighting in the illustration. For example, I decided to use two light sources. The first one comes from the firepower coming from his hands, and the second one comes from behind the character. Third, determine the direction of the light source from the light you have previously determined. It can be from the right, left, top, bottom, front, or back of the object. Since I decided the light source are from front and behind the character, this means that the front of the character's body is affected by the first light effect. Meanwhile, the character's back and back hair are affected by the second light effect. Fourth, create one multiply clipping mask layer at the top. You can use any color you want by applying the color theory that you have learned in the previous section. Color the entire surface of your image, then erase the part affected by the light that you have previously determined the direction of. After that, adjust the opacity of the clipping mask layer as you want. Fifth, Use the airbrush tool or blending tool to smooth the part affected by the previous light effects so that there is a variation between soft and hard lighting. This step is optional depending on your style. 6. Create a new clipping mask layer with overlay blending mode at the top. Then, use the airbrush tool to add soft light. In this step, you can experiment with color. Make the image look more alive with a touch of light color variation. You can also adjust the opacity of the layer as you want. Do this step until you're satisfied with the results. For example, I decided to color the first lighting with a reddish orange color because the source is from a fire. For the second light, I decided to give a complementary color to the color of the first light's fire. So I used a light greenish blue color. That's all for the lesson on lighting in making illustrations. Now, let's review the lesson. Lighting is a stage where the artist adds a light source to the object to make it look more alive. Lighting can be divided into hard lighting and soft lighting. Furthermore, the steps to add lighting to an illustration have also been explained. However, use the steps above as a guide only. Everyone has their own way of making illustrations. Do what is comfortable for you and create a more lively illustration with the right lighting. In the next video, we will learn about rendering. So, see you in the next video.